Welcome everybody to the Latin Nerd Network. My name is Jose and this is my review for the Pope's Exorcist, or as our esteemed host on tonight's event, the Pop's Exorcist. I wish I was joking about that. This one here, of course, the newest horror film, at least billed as a horror film, based off the trailers. Of course, you guys have seen the trailers. This is like, another of those Exorcist kind of films, which I like this kind of subgenre in the realm of horror, right? When it's executed correctly, that can be really creepy and a lot of fun. This one here starring, of course, the great Russell Crowe, Maximus himself from Gladiator. He is, the Pope's chief exorcist, right? The Vatican's chief exorcist, who took over around 86, 87 and was there in that role to around 2016. He published a lot of books, and according to the movie, the books are very good. I'll take the word for it. Well, they lie, it's a church, right? Let's be clear. But here, he's got a knack for kind of sniffing out what's a real possession versus just someone who might have psychological issues. According to him, only a very small percentage of those possessions, believed to be possessions, are actually that, as opposed to something else mentally, whatever the case is. But he's tasked one day to go to Spain. There's a family that move out there. He's renovating this home or castle, something along those lines. And one of the youngest boy, he ends up getting possessed by one of the demons from hell. So now, Russell Crowe sent her to exorcise it, of course, known as Father Gabriel Amort, if I'm saying that right. Amort, I'm sorry. And, the kid is actually possessed, and now he's in the fight of his life to help this kid and exorcise the demons within him, if you will. Now, I'll say this, and this might be a little bit confusing at first, but as a horror film, it's terrible. It's not good as a pure horror film. Taking the horror aspect away, just as a film, it's okay and it's entertaining enough. And what I mean by it's a bad horror film, because watch the trailers, it makes it seem like this was going to be, your classic kind of horror type film, and it's not. This is has no real scares at all. So if that's what you're looking for, look elsewhere. This is not going to be for you. This is a movie with horror elements. Obviously, the subject matter is something you see and visit in horror all the time. And there are some cool elements there, some good visuals, some cool moments, so some slight, tension, scare, if you will, to a certain degree, to a small amount. But this movie is entirely something else. It's a good film about a decent film, not a good film. Let me rephrase that. An okay film in which, Russell Crowe literally carries this on his shoulders, right? This movie works because of Russell Crowe. I think he's great and he's a lot of fun, because, in the trailers, you don't get a good sense of the character. You just think he's one of those priests who does what he does. And to some degree he is, but he's also quite amusing, right? He's very full of himself, has kind of a rebellious attitude. And again, all the moments of levity come from him, which is kind of refreshing in a movie like this. So I thought he was great. Without him, this movie does not work. It's just that simple. The movie barely works with him. Without him, forget about it. But, essentially, I think this movie is just kind of a mixed bag. There's so many different elements here. You got some horror-esque elements. This whole, elements of the theology and mystery, and this, almost part adventure, kind of Indiana Jones-esque at times. A little bit of comedy in there. And it's kind of a, what is it called? Jack of all trades and master of none, right? It gives you a lot, and I think the movie really knows what it wants to be at the end of the day. And by the end, it kind of presents a scenario of a movie which I would have rather have seen and would like to see in the future, right? But ultimately, no scares, so I can't judge it as a horror film. I don't want you guys to have the right expectation if you guys decide to go see this movie. It's an okay film with a good performance, a good character portrayed by, Russell Crowe. Cool. If you like the idea of, the church's battle against evil and all this other stuff, that it's very interesting. It's presented in an interesting way, right? And I like that about the film. And the kid who's possessed, he's pretty good. I give him credit. And there's some cool visuals, but at the end of the day, it's not really a film I can really recommend you guys go to the theaters and watch. This is one you can probably skip that, and this one better app watching it at home, Sunday evening, Sunday night, Friday night, whatever. Pop it in with the right expectations that this is not going to scare you in the least, but it could be some interesting watch and somewhat entertaining for the most part. So that's the best I can do as far as recommendation. There's other movies to go see, and I don't think this really should be at anyone's top of the list. We got a hopefully good horror movie, Evil Dead, coming on next week, and hopefully that hits more on the horror side than this movie even dreamed it could. So that being said, catch it at home. It's worth watching, but that's the best what I can do. As always, guys, comment below, let me know where you guys stop. And of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.